let's say he wasn't a politician, but Yasser Arafat was. And you said that
Yasser Arafat was a politician.
Um, did you follow his career and do you agree with him or not?
I think I agree with Yasser Arafat. I should go back to ask, like, why are you so angry, Resistance? Why?
Because the Jews are committing genocide in Gaza, and people are whitewashing it, and they agree with me.
Yeah.
See, maybe it's not just why is he so angry, it's really why is he so stupid? What happened to this man's brain and his development on his journey in life? Who hurt you, Resistance?
Just like I don't like what's going on.
Who hurt you, sir? You are no gentleman. You are a racist. You are a bigot. You're a homicidal maniac! You attack people on the streets, sir! You're a violent man! You are a domestic terrorist, sir!
Weak-ass tactics. Why are you using weak-ass tactics trying to shut down Resistance? He's correct.
He is a domestic terrorist, and I reported him to the FBI for promoting terrorism, supporting terrorism, and spreading terrorism communication amongst the people of America in Clownhouse, sir.
Jaya, stop trolling. Be serious for a minute, man.
How are you guys drinking children's blood? Mingling their flesh without
Who the fuck's drinking children's blood? Are you honestly normal right now? Get the fuck out of here, bro. You're posting in your PTR like you're on fucking Grindr. You want to act
You're
serious?
hated for a reason.
No, buddy.
Grindr was created by
you're hating because you think you have a reason. This ain't Grindr, homie. You ain't gonna find a thing in this fucking room. And nobody drinks children's blood.
I get more women than you can imagine.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Take your ass.
I call bullshit. You're on
Take your
Grindr.
ass to Europe, motherfucker.
Africa, you fucking moron.
109 countries
I'm from
road.
Africa. I was born in Africa.
Everybody's tired of you fucking clowns.
I mean, just think this over the thing.
Not Israel. You don't have the DNA. You're not
from
fucking who the fuck
and
are you?
they literally
Okay,
don't
Shut the fuck up.
You guys are European. You're
Shut
white.
the fuck up.
That's not your land. You're a
I was
colonizer.
born in Africa, you clown.
Nobody gives a fuck.
I was
what you
born
say.
in Africa, you clown.
Motherfucking
Shut the fuck up.
Charlie Kirk. Why was there a Jewish man over
Goddamn
there
point,
being arrested
Shut the fuck
at
up.
the shooting? Who was
Whoa,
there during
Seymour,
9/11?
bro. We're not gonna go with
Why
that
was an
racist
Ashkenazi
Jew,
Jew
bro.
there? Answer the question.
Why doesn't he shut the fuck up?
Well, Seymour only does that because he sucks big black dick. That's why.
You guys got no respect, eh? You try to ruin a space.
Why would
We're
anybody
talking
respect
about
that?
life.
Why
You
would
start
anybody
lying
respect
about
that?
drinking
We
babies.
know
Like, shut the
we know what
fuck
the
up,
Talmud
you
says.
grinder fucking troll. Honestly.
He's
Who else
reading
wants
from
to go down next? Honestly. You guys,
Yeah.
you don't respect spaces. You don't respect there's women talking in here, and right away you want to talk about politics that you know nothing about. Nothing. You guys, none of you fucking fools have ever been to Israel. Ever. You
I've
have
been to
never known.
Palestine. I've been to Palestine.
No, you haven't. You liar. You've already admitted that. You're a liar. You've
I've been
never
to
been there.
Masjid.
Oh my God.
Because
get
it
out,
doesn't
bro.
exist. I've been to
This
Palestine.
guy's such a fucking liar, bro. Booty clapping fucking whore. Shut up. You and your grinder buddy. I didn't know you would actually have the balls to bring your fucking boyfriend on Clubhouse and expose yourselves. Wow. There was women talking. The title says let's talk about life, not about how you hate Jews.
Don't get
You're
angry.
every day that you're not obsessed with fucking Jews on this app.
I mean, you have a right to get angry, but don't get angry. He was reading from a script, and they don't argue. And I mean, he confidently said that his arguments are always strong and right. So he's not right in the head. So don't argue with this.
No, I have a problem. There's 3 women on stage, and then honestly, Seymour, that's stupid, bro. Honestly, you're dumb too. Calling him a porch monkey, fucking racist. Like, you don't even deserve to be on the stage either. It's like, fuck. Throwing stones while you live in a glass house. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And that's the problem. That's what we deal with every day, just by being Jewish. You know how, like, you know, I was thinking about what you're saying, Sharona. You come to the app, and it was, you know, it was kind of a way to, like, do without being you, right? And until you actually built up being you and telling people your story. Well, Jews come to the app right away, either their name or who they hang around with, they automatically get attacked. Just by anything. We're having you guys are having a conversation about, like, beautiful things about life, we're talking with, like, was so beautiful, the story you were talking about, you know what I mean? Everybody's on stage, like, actually having a normal combo, and then you have people, and I went to my daughter's school, pick up all my little girls. I come back and I hear you guys, and it's like kind of in the matrix, and I'm hearing this guy, and I'm like, I hope they're okay. So I buckle up my kids, and I get in the car, and I can hear it, and I'm like, what the fuck? They don't have common courtesy, no respect, and the problem is, they don't cherish women. They don't respect women in a way like, and I don't understand. Like, their father didn't jerk off on a rock and son hatched them. They were all brought here because of women, but yet they don't have the common decency to respect, like the stage, the space, women speaking about something. They want to derail it and bring their hate. The reality is, somebody asked them, it's my question, why are you angry? That's the reality. Why are you fucking angry?
Yeah.
You know,
You have every right
it's
to
your
be angry.
choice.
These people are
it
just
is
punks,
not.
and
You
they
don't have
cannot
every
argue
right.
for shit.
You don't have that right. You have the choice to come to this app and to be angry or to spread your anger. It's your choice to come here and to listen to it. Accept personal responsibility and self-governance, and most of these problems will resolve on their own. However, some people want to come here and spread their hate, spread their anger, spread their frustration, but they don't have any actual solutions to fix the hate that they're spreading. So if you don't have tools, I would recommend you get a book. I'm in a book club.
I don't believe it's going to solve on its own. There's a mental mind virus that's going around, and unfortunately a lot of people are infected by it. We see it every day on this app. It's prevalent. And I only know of one cure, and I don't want to say it because I can just tell you there's a lot of brass in it. But other than that, there's no cure.
It's got to be miserable waking up every morning thinking about how much you hate people.
Absolutely. I wake up, I want to see what's on X videos, Pornhub, man.
Much of this
maybe
is
they got a new feature actress.
much of this is just dopamine because the population is an index of psychosis. And so let's say 20% of the population is suicidal or homicidal, or 10% or 5% or 1%, whatever that number is. You have to realize that this Charlie Kirk assassination and the Free Palestine movement have a lot of homicidal, suicidal people going crazy on social media because they want that dopamine. They need that dopamine because they probably are depressed. So the likes and the retweets and the hate speech, which gives them that dopamine bump, is because they probably are suffering from depression. However, that doesn't...
Where did we go wrong that hate gives us extra dopamine? Where did we go wrong as humans? I thought it was exciting, like going on a roller coaster, seeing a pair of titties at a bar, a girl seeing a guy walk jogging down the road with a nice ass, like, and then now it's hatred that gives us dopamine? Where did we go wrong?
It is a combination of software and hardware. It's Apple and Microsoft, it's Meta and Google, and your cell phone. Your cell phone, the reason why it's called a cell is because it's a prison. And many people on this app are trapped in that cell. And the truth is, you have to bring light into that cell. Everything can be broken down into the metaphor of a house. That's why Clubhouse is so popular, because your life is, we're technically a people at houses. And you have many rooms in your house that stores many different tools, or that you're storing. So people on this app are either intentionally doing it, or they are psychotic and they are delusional, or they are just hyper polarized political people. It's a wide variety of people. I've recorded it all for many years, as you know. This is Jaya. I am complete.
No, it's called a cell phone because a wireless network it uses is divided into geographic areas called cells. Okay, you can bring in too deep to it. So what are you Jewish people going to do about your leadership, and how are you getting rid of them? So, because they're making you look bad.
What are you going to do about it? More
What am I going
importantly.
to do about it? Well,
Yeah.
You don't want me to get involved. That's your
Why not?
question.
No,
That's
it's
your
not.
leader.
It's not
That's
your
your
life
leader.
question. So,
BB
your
is your
nose.
leader.
No, it's
I
not my
know
leader. It's the leader of
But-
Israel. So,
So
what are
we're
you
gonna
going to do
start
about
beating
it?
back.
What? Hold on. Can you, hold on. Take the pacifier, put it back in your asshole,
Go
and
ahead.
answer a proper fucking question.
Dude,
Sounding like a whiny little bitch.
You don't
I'm not a
respect
coward.
people,
I'm asking you direct questions. You don't know how to answer them.
You don't give respect, motherfucker.
Bullshit.
That's not how this shit works.
Bullshit. It is how it works. You're in my house. Don't like it.
Look at you. You got a
See
sneaking
the
star
door.
of a fake fucking country that doesn't
Tell me.
really
Tell me.
exist.
Tell me.
102
How?
How many 4 cents you fight today? There,
Okay, so let's talk normal for a sec, okay?
Yeah.
Hold on. Calm down, okay?
Yeah, I love Hitler. He didn't do
Good.
enough.
Tell me more. Tell me. Hold on. Nobody interrupt this guy.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
So you're not
Tell me more.
You're not even a real Jew, bro. You're not even a real Jew.
Tell me more. I know you're gonna tell me I'm European next, but I was born in Africa. You fail.
Doesn't
Tell me
matter, motherfucker. And you're
Tell me
giving
more.
Israeli.
Tell me more about how you love
You're
Hitler and how Hitler didn't do enough. Tell me more about the hate. Please educate me.
Okay, let me educate you.
Yeah.
In
tell me.
America, guess
Yeah.
what? This so-called hate speech bullshit is free speech. Doesn't matter. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say. Unlike
Tell me
you,
more.
I'm a coward. I've already been banned for shit 28 fucking times, bro. I don't give a shit about this.
Don't interrupt them,
You
guys.
people don't matter. You people don't matter. You can record me all you want. You people
No,
don't matter.
nobody's recording you.
The
Don't worry.
judgment
Talk.
is coming to you. The judgment is coming to you.
Talk.
There's nothing.
Let it out, little boy.
I've had hundreds of debates with clowns like you.
Let it out.
Let's break it down.
Let
Let's
it
break
out.
it down. Let me make it very simple for you.
You don't know how to debate. All you do is like to hear yourself speak.
97% of the DNA in Israel, shut up, I'm talking, is European. Why is it that you guys are sterilizing the black Ethiopian Jews over there? Can you explain that?
Who's
Why is
sterilizing
baby
who?
using-
What are you
Why
talking
is
about?
baby? Why is
What are you
baby
talking
using
about,
the
bro?
Hannibal? Listen, you'll learn something. Using the Hannibal directive, he murdered his own people on October 7th. He said out of his own demon mouth that this is our 9/11. This is what he said.
Yeah.
It's a false
Yeah.
flag attack. Get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here. This is what you guys did on 9/11. The dancing Israelis. Larry Silverstein. Yeah, he took terrorism insurance 2 weeks before the 9/11 towers were hit. There's always a Jew. Why is there always a Jew whenever there's a terrorist attack on this country?
So when you woke up this morning without a heart on, let me guess, you blame the Jew, right?
Every freaking time. This is, you keep laughing because the only place you can be able to live is Mars, you clown. The whole world is tired of you.
I mean, Billy, you have to give it to him. It's so funny.
No, it actually is very comical.
11
And the
countries.
whole problem is, this is the
You
problem.
were kicked out.
The problem is, this is the problem. Shut the fuck up, okay, goof, while I talk, okay? Now, I let you speak. This is the problem. They think they're winning this propaganda narrative, but if anybody dares to click on a link, you know, when it says Free Palestine and all that bullshit, go into the comments and watch how many people are sick and tired of these motherfuckers. Sick and tired. And watch what's gonna happen to them. Just how he just spit that hate rhetoric about Nazis and that Hitler didn't do enough and all that shit. They're all gonna be either arrested and they murder each other. That's what we know, right? It's not gonna be a good end for them. But I don't have to belittle myself or lower myself to threaten you. You're doing it to yourself. That's the problem. And then you say that you debated over 100 people on this app and you won. You've only talked without breathing. You'd probably be good at eating pussy. You might get a date because the way you can talk, without breathing. I heard you talk for like 3 minutes straight. It was impressive. I don't know if you were a swimmer or something, but you got really good lung control. You don't know how to debate because you don't know how. Shut the fuck up.
How am I
I'm
gonna
gonna
get
go over to
arrested?
you. I'm gonna
How
drop
am I gonna get
the whole
arrested?
stage. Pardon?
You're a clown.
I'm gonna get arrested?
Free speech.
No, that's the problem. The problem is you don't understand the
Go ahead.
difference between free speech and hate speech, and there's a fine line and there's a responsibility that you still have to have while trying
How am I
to
getting
keep your hate
arrested
rhetoric.
for what I said? Tell me.
Keep talking. And
So how am I getting arrested for what I
keep
said?
talking and I'll point it out.
Billy,
No, I already said what I said.
let me talk to
keep
you.
talking.
You already said what I
Oh,
said.
because I'm pretty sure you just met us in this room right now, and I'm
The
pretty
world
sure,
doesn't belong to
and
you.
you're probably extremely violent. You probably said way worse things
Yes.
to other
Oh, yeah.
people.
Marcus,
Yes, I'm
you
extremely
said that you love Hitler. Am I correct?
I love that.
So, have you been to
You know how many?
Germany?
Oh wait, hold on. You know how many black people Hitler killed? Hold on.
That's how men are English. That's how men are English.
Hold on. You don't speak Hebrew, bro. So stop trying.
I do.
No, you don't. Listen. So let me guess. You're a PHR. How many people did Hitler? How many black people did Hitler kill? How many black people did Hitler kill?
Hey, guess what?
And you love Hitler, you just said. How many black
How many
people did
has
Hitler
the
kill?
BB killed?
How many
I'll tell
black
you.
men and women did Hitler
I'll
kill?
tell you. Guess
Yes.
what? How many people did BB kill?
No. I have a question. So you said that you love Hitler and you have never been to Germany. Have you ever tried saying this statement in Germany? So I want to know if you have done
It's
it.
an irrelevant question. I don't have to be in Germany to love the guy. Okay, I can appreciate what he did. You have to understand, everywhere you guys
He
go,
killed
you will
black men
appreciate
and
what he
women
did.
and children.
In Germany,
You're sick.
free speech. Germany has free speech, even freer than the United
Prove it.
States. If you come to Germany,
BB,
say that
how am I getting
statement,
arrested for what I said? Answer the question. How am I getting arrested for what I said? Switch
All
to
right,
what you said.
keep talking.
it's
I am keep
illegal.
talking. I am gonna keep talking.
Okay.
Listen.
Keep talking.
Okay, 2,000 years ago, you guys hijacked an ethnicity and a religion that doesn't belong to. Actually, I should say religion, not an ethnicity.
Oh, I already know. But this guy's a BHI. This guy's a BHI. No, he's a Israelite.
The brain
Oh, so they're beyond brainwashed.
I was really hoping he would answer the question about how many blacks did Hitler kill, because I don't even know. I'm curious.
He can't. He's just talking to talk.
Yeah, he answered
He ran
the
away.
question with a question.
He ran away.
Yeah, he's not here.
Yeah, he ran away. He couldn't answer like that. The other guy, they usually answer a question with a question. They deflect. They cannot argue for shit, and they have nothing to back their argument. And even though I'm not Jewish myself, I study shit. Even my opponent's point. And these guys were talking shit. Like they have nothing to back themselves up.
Yeah, that was a lot of blah 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 blah.
I was just sitting back listening to all that, thinking to myself, I mean, I know the answer, but the fact that people are so obsessed with Jews is just it's so odd. It's disturbing on so many levels. It's damn near comical, too. It's like, the rage is just, it's mind-boggling to me.
Oh,
It's real. It's real.
Wait, was he talking? I thought he was just spitting all over his microphone to clean his phone.
He's practicing for his Grindr account. Oh, he's back. He's back. That's how obsessed he is. Yeah, I'll let you up if you can answer. How many black people Hitler killed?
As Marcus as let me double check, the lone black woman on the stage, I'd like to know the answer to this too. How many blacks did Hitler kill? Because I've always heard it was none, but I know that can't be right. So if you're going to go on and on and on about Israel and terrorism and Hamas and blah, 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 and you appear to be black in your PTR, and you say you love Hitler, tell us educate me, how many black people did Hitler kill? I'm curious to know.
You won't come up now.
Yeah.
You heard a strong black
Trying to
woman
Google
speak.
something.
He heard a strong black woman speak, so he's intimidated. I even took off the hand raising for his loathing ass. I put it back on. I can bring him back up.
See, the problem is, what's the point of this room? What was the point of the room yesterday? What's the point of the room tomorrow? I mean, what's the point of this room right now?
Because we're just gathered to have conversations, just fun conversations about everything. About anything. Let's talk about life. But I think we can do that without being hateful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I've been listening for like 20 minutes now. I was just wondering when anybody's ever actually going to say anything intelligent related to the title.
We did do that for
Well,
about
we did
an
do
hour.
that for 2 hours, yeah. We were talking beautiful things, and I came in off guard because, we're around children, and I wasn't ready to fucking get into it with somebody, so yeah. But, what was the point of you, John, going blah, 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 blah in the microphone? What was that point? Tell me.
I was just repeating back the stuff that I listened to for about the past 20, 30 minutes. That's all.
Oh, okay. I'm still curious, man. Let me do a simple grok. How many, how many black people
You too. censorship.
were
Can't
killed
occasionally be censored and
in
attacked by left-wing
Nazi
extremist Democrats and attempt to
Germany.
deplatform.
or through the Nazi. Let's see. Curious. Let's see. Hold on. I remember the number, but I don't. I want to make sure. Okay, 220,000 to 500,000. That was not centralized systemically extermination program specifically aimed to exterminating all black people. Instead, the persecution involved discrimination, social exclusion, forced sterilization, imprisonment, forced labor. So you love Hitler, and he did that. The black.
Hitler wouldn't have loved him.
That's the problem. That's the problem. These people love the people. Like, if this fucking clown walked into Gaza tomorrow, he'd be lynched just for the color of his skin. And he's booty clapping for them. That's the craziest thing.
Yeah. What can you do? Can't change certain
And it's funny, they always scream, European, fucking go back to Europe. I was born in Africa, you fucking clown.
Well, at what point do you think you'll realize that you're wasting your time?
I'm not, because I had meaningful conversation today. I got to know
Oh,
people
really, sir?
people on the app.
Really? When do you think you'll realize that you're wasting your
My
time?
heart tingled. I got to shine a little bit of light. I played prayers this morning in my room. I played music. It made my world a better place.
John, as the guy with like 60 phones, I think that's a really good question to ask you. At what point in time will you realize that you're wasting a lot of your fucking time, way more than I'm wasting?
You know what's interesting is one of my phones, I've been using it so long, the actual YouTube background is burned into the face of the phone, and I am utterly amazed that these phones can even do what they're doing. So when the phones burn out, when the money burns out, when the light burns out, that's when I'll know that I have completed my mission. My point is to make phones.
God, you don't think that people that are like for your campaign that they're gonna start asking like, I found you on YouTube and you're recording rooms and they hear you talking, do you think that they're gonna start questioning the mental stability? I'm not putting you down. I actually like having.
No, I think my ideas and my opinions and my analysis is absolutely accurate. Therefore, I'm not worried or ashamed about anything I've ever said on this app, sir. I think people who are recorded acting like animals on this app should be ashamed of their behavior and the words they say.
So you don't think people are gonna think you're violating people's privacy? And you keep asking every time you come into the room, like, what's the point? And that's a good point Mike asked. You have 60 points.
You think I'm worried about violating people's privacy while they make death threats here on this
I don't
app?
think you're worried about it at all. I don't think you care about anybody's privacy. But my whole point is you ask one room, what's your point? Well, you're recording with 60 phones.
I mean, John, I can tell you that Clubhouse has occupied fuck tons of more time for you than me. Fuck tons more. Probably 10 to 10.
I know, but see,
so every time you say that,
Mike,
I like you personally as well.
Mike,
every time you quit, you say that stupid conversations are happening or why we're all wasting our time. It just reeks as absolute complete hypocrisy because you're like the spitting image of the like worst case scenario of Clubhouse usage. It's crazy. Like, where do you even come off thinking that somehow you're like not part of that systemic issue that you constantly talk about? I just don't understand.
Oh, many of you may not know who I am. I am an artist, an actor, a producer, a filmmaker. You are just critics. I'm a true artist. You can go to my YouTube channel to check out my YouTube channels. I hope you enjoy videos of you, the critics.
Yeah, your autograph, please.
I love you, man. I love you. You're a total fucking weirdo. You make me feel really normal, and not very many people can do that job.
I just wanted to tell you something, Bibi. I mean, as an Iranian, of course, I have faced a lot of trolls online, and I know what they do, especially a lot of them are paid by our government. But specifically, when I looked at this person, you got angry, you were like, he's an idiot, of course, but he's a troll. I mean, he has 4 friends. He thinks that we should get rid of all vaccines, throw them all out together. And, I mean, he's a troll. Don't pollute your blood. I mean, there is a saying in Persian, we say don't pollute your blood. But, I mean, by allowing these kind of people get under your skin. And he was just reading from a script. If anybody paid attention earlier, he was just rambling and reading from a script, and he was not even thinking what he was reading. And it doesn't make sense. So don't get angry. I mean, we had a really good discussion. So maybe next time we can just kick them off speakers or something.
Yeah.
Also about Africans who resided in Germany. There is a place called Rheinland, and as far as I know this from one of my Kenyan friends. She said there were around 300 to 400 people that were sterilized in that place alone. So, I mean, yeah, Nazi Germany was a fucked up place to live in.
I would love to talk about life, breath, being at peace, feeling great, not having any pain in the body, having good food, access to sunlight in a gym, maybe a beach, maybe a boat. I'm talking about the good life, ladies and gentlemen.
So are we going to talk about life right now, or?
I mean, John's here, so people are probably reluctant. Happy Toxic Tuesday, y'all. Hello, Yakov. Did I say that right?
Do I know you?
Yakov!
No, I don't think so.
I know, I accept no credit, I take no blame.
See, you
How
know,
do you not know serendipity, Yakov? You guys haven't met in room still here? What could that possibly be? I don't know. You know, there's probability and there's possibility. So
Guys, I have
to show you guys a picture of J-Lo in real life. So I'm gonna PTR the picture of when I met
Never
J-Lo.
shows her picture, so ask for permission.
Can anyone tell me what the word life spells backwards and how it sounds? Does it sound like evil to you?
It does, but I mean, if you want to talk about evil, you have to reverse the word love. Then you will find the real evil.
Oh, the
You know what
opposite
the
of
opposite of
evil
love
is
is?
love!
Evil.
Uh,
Yeah.
Indifference.
Indifference, exactly. Indifference.
Mm-hmm.
Indifference? Is that what love means? Really?
That's the
Indifferent?
opposite of love.
I'm feeling indifferent to you right now. You might say it's love.
It's an emotion. The opposite of love, which is an emotion, is indifference. No emotion.
No, I was talking about wordplay because you were having a wordplay with life. So I was saying if you reverse love, you will find something even more interesting.
Okay, guys, PTR. This is.
Thank you, Maddie. So my point here is that in life, you can't actually remove the evil from the equation. Now, can you?
Danny? There can be tons of nuts.
What, Jaya?
I was trying to say that the Tanya,
Thanks,
the
your
sacred
not
Jewish
smiling
book of
helps
wisdom.
not show the lines.
Helps what?
Not show the lines.
Ah.
All I'm saying is, the man that killed Charlie Kirk is evil. Charlie Kirk was life and was
Who's
good.
Charlie Clark?
Charlie Kirk. Can you not hear me, Yakov? Go get your Wi-Fi turned down. I'm not finished here either. Don't interrupt. We're at 350 signatures for the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover. We only need 500 more, and I'm sure we're going to get it. So everyone who donated, you're getting a VIP exclusive invite to our March
district
to honor the campaign donors, Yakov, that paid for the people in the district to
No,
go
but
get the signatures on the petitions. I said don't interrupt, Yakov. Hold all questions to the end, young man.
No.
I'm not finished here, Yakov.
Are you getting to? You need a certain number of people to sign to be on.
Don't interrupt, Yakov. Hold all your questions to the end, Yakov.
He never shuts up.
Just hold your questions to the end, Yakov.
He's gonna be.
You know what rhymes with Yakov?
Congressman.
You know what rhymes with Yakov?
Now tell me. Let me use your wide imagination. What rhymes?
So as I was saying, we're just a few hundred signatures away from getting on this March 17th petition ballot, and I want to let everybody know here on Clown House who donated. The biggest donors, Hikima. Can you believe it? Hikima, JB, two of the biggest donors to their campaign, and I can't thank you enough. And Danny, our crisis actress. Great work, Danny. Good job.
I got to meet J-Lo, look.
Wow, Danny.
What
Yeah.
character is that? I am not up on my cartoon characters.
I don't know, but I met them.
Taylor, where'd you get that from?
Clown Academy. I went out on a date with a girl once. She told me she actually went to Clown University. I said, "You've downloaded Clown House?"
Someone dated you?
Yeah. We went to this beautiful bar
Wait,
called
she was a clown in
Stereo.
action?
She literally took out a $45,000 loan to go to comedy college. I was like, really?
You can't just do that for free.
That's hilarious. You took out a loan and now you
I
gotta
feel
file
like you can throw
bankruptcy because you went to
tomatoes
a
at
comedy college? That's hilarious.
You can throw tomatoes
That's a
at
joke
me
in
for
itself.
free.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? She took
College
out
is a joke.
$45,000 to go to comedy college, Second City University.
I actually
No, you're
have
in the third city now.
I have a question for Jaya. So, am I pronouncing it correctly? Or
It's pronounced Jaya.
Jaya? Okay. So, Jaya, are you promoting a campaign or something?
Yes, this is candidate Congressman John Kitover. I'm running in the 16th District of Illinois against Darren LaHood for the Republican primary on March 17th. Go to
Okay, and earlier you
johnforcongress.com.
were thanking people for their donations, so I was wondering if you're live streaming this or.
Yeah, of course. Everything I do, I film. Why would I be here if I'm not recording what I'm doing? What a waste of time that would be. I'm running for Congress, and we're live streaming the whole campaign from my bedroom office. Isn't that exciting? The first congressman on YouTube. Wow, we did it, ladies and gentlemen. We live streamed our way into the halls of Congress, and we're not gonna stop.
I mean, it would be very hard.
And we're
Have
not gonna
you,
stop.
gathered-
We're just gonna keep live streaming and filming as much as we can for the constituents, Mary, for the people of America, for you, for Clown World.
Nice, and I wanted to ask you if you have found a lot of donators or a lot of followers here who are going to vote for you.
You know what rhymes with donators?
I mean, have you found a lot of followers on Clubhouse, like people who are going to vote for you?
Oh yeah, we've been using Clubhouse in the campaign. Everybody who's been getting petitions has to go through the same onboarding process, and we have somebody else who actually wants to onboard as well today. We were supposed to do it at 1 o'clock, but he didn't text me, so. People's schedules change, people's priorities change. It's the same everywhere, whether you're in the government or at a corporation or you're sitting in a hospice. It's all about priorities.
And how many people are you running against?
We are running against about 5 people. The incumbent Republican Darren LaHood, as well as another Republican and about 4 Democrats. But really 2 Republicans, because this is to find out who is the king of the clubhouse Republicans, aka the 16th District. We're here to find out. And it took grassroots efforts from people here on Clown House to help this campaign. We can't thank them enough, whether they wanted to or they didn't want to. Most people don't want to do anything. So what can you do but herd them into gates, open up a door and say, go, go, go. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. That's it. That's all you can really do half the time. What kind of work do you do, Mary?
Well,
She works for Darren's campaign.
You work for Darren's campaign? Oh, you must know Dr. Adams and Matt Cool. They're too cool for school with their white America rooms every day where they drop the N-word casually and joke about it like little kids. They're pathetic. Oh. I'm not saying everybody's pathetic. I'm just saying when I say read a book and go to the gym, it's projection.
has anybody told you that?
No, part of self-governance and personal responsibility is reminding yourself by reminding others to go to the gym and read a book.
And I mean, I'm sorry for asking this because this is very unusual, but you are serious about this, and this is not a joke. Am I right?
I know, it's hard to believe. He's too serious.
Oh, this is not a joke, Mary. You can go to johnforcongress.com. I mean, I'm on all the platforms across multiple accounts. This is 100% a real campaign, and if we get on the primary, there's a good chance we actually win. People are that disgusted with Darren LaHood and his leadership as a Republican congressperson, so I could be the Republican replacement in waiting. Jaya, aka John Kitover.
I think a lot of Republicans love the color, I would say, navy blue, and so maybe you can change your shirt. It will, I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think you will gather more followers that way.
Oh, I agree. We take a photo every day. That was just Friday night's photo. So I want to remind everybody that the debt per citizen has doubled in just 7 years, Funded debt has doubled in 7 years, 150,000 to 300,000 in 7 years for every taxpayer here in America. It only took us 7 years to double up, everybody.
It's unfortunate though that those guys had to come in the room though. I apologize to everybody. I'm a shit nightmare.
See, if you want a hard reset, and flush the toilet, it only takes a poem.
Has anybody ever campaigned on YouTube? What?
Oh, maybe you don't follow politics, but have you seen what AOC does? Have you seen what anybody does? It's all YouTube all the time, Instagram all the time. I don't even know if do you even look at anything? Have you seen politics today?
No, I don't follow AOC. I mean, if your campaign is targeting social media, a lot of users are Gen Z and they're on TikTok. So I guess maybe you are there, active there.
Maybe you've heard of this platform called X by Elon Musk. I don't know. I know a lot of Democrats are in here.
As an Iranian, I have definitely have grown up with X or Twitter. So yeah. But to be honest, I don't think you will gather a lot of followers here on Clubhouse. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, you do you, and I wish you the best.
What makes you think I haven't had tens of thousands of followers on this app, Mary? Who the hell are you?
Nobody. Yeah, nobody.
Exactly. Well, I'm just saying life is opinion and the universe is transformation.
So is that you, the anonymous, that's in the audience, and then you're on stage as well?
Yeah, you can go to my YouTube channel to see how I'm filming everything over here. Again, I'm a filmmaker, a politician, an actor, an artist. Got many roles, many titles.
Respectfully, cannot record.
Do not record me without my permission.
People that are
Do not record me without my permission.
Want to make your campaign
Do
progress.
not record me without my permission.
Politician number one.
I just wrote a new song. It goes like this. Do not record me without my permission. Do not record me without my permission. You see it?
That's one of the movies.
Because since he started talking, more than half of people left.
Yeah, no, but he's recording it in the box. But how you stop that is you do this.
Boom!
To be honest, I thought that it was a Joker. Like,
Because the song stopped.
BB! Counter surveillance, counter intel proing me. Oh man, too funny. Bro, fuck ABC. What? Fuck ABC.
You have seen an alleged murder with.
Oh god. Puke. All right. We're going to play a couple little Let's try to find copyright free ohm. Is he still going? BB can talk all day.
Yeah. 1 second.
Thank you.
It's not true. It's a very small percent. I'll send you a picture of it because it's in Hebrew. But I'll send you it right now. I just sent it to you in your back channel. It's a yaga.
The United States is a renegade country. Maybe we don't feel like that on the inside of the country, but I'm in a situation where I don't hear gunshots. And I know that people may not hear them generally in some parts of, I don't want to name any particular states, but because gun violence is everywhere in the United States, it actually really is, done by different people, but there's something that's been going on in the United States for a long time. It goes back way before I was born because there was a handgun. The use of guns in the United States society and before the U.S. in the Americas, came with the Indians basically. But there was a gun that some people may remember called the Saturday Night Special. And I've always wondered, where did this horrific name? Obviously, I think it pretty much implies that people used this gun to settle scores on Saturday nights, which is very sad. But I remember growing up hearing about pistols being called Saturday Night Special. This was like from the media. This was not from people that I knew personally. And my grandfather was a homicide detective. He was a police officer. But this particular situation, okay. I worked in human rights, in elections. I worked in Bosnia. I worked in a place called Srebrenica. I remember one time well, it was not in Srebrenica, but in another community, another village nearby, where U.S. military was responsible for that part of Bosnia. This goes back to the immediate post-war time, and they had the S4 troops from NATO, stabilization force, they're called. And so I happened to be in a sector that was U.S. military, S4 troops. And I'm working in the local municipal building with the local people. They're trying to reestablish their local government. And the main part of that was to reestablish the ability to vote, which I'm talking about November 4th, because that's at the heart. Everything that is at the heart, to show up to vote because you care, because you understand that's all they ask of you as a citizen. Well, not only that, but actually you need to run for office too, and you need to know what the issues are. But anyway, so these American soldiers come through on their patrol, and Lord have mercy, but this one soldier, he was carrying a firearm. The local people freaked out. They did not, I don't know how to describe it, but because they had just come out of an armed conflict where neighbors killed each other, a civil war. And it was against the rules of S4. They were not supposed to bring firearms into buildings on their patrol, but this dude did, a young white American soldier. And everybody in the building noticed it. We are immune. We are not immune, impervious. We have forgotten something. To even talk about murder by gun, I don't care if it's hunting rifle or whatever. But the United States is off the track. And I had a total stranger, Scottish, white man, on a plane flight in Africa. Some years ago, this man, he decided to chat me up. I'm sitting by the window, the dude sits beside me. He started talking to me in the terminal, which is a regional terminal, and not an international flight, not a long flight. Nice person. And the dude says, when he finds out I live in Italy also, he says, well, you better stay in Italy because there's going to be a race war.
Well, what does this have to do with the question of whether the motive is necessary?
This kind of violence, I can't deal it, Gary. I think to my ear, it was sounding like you're doing both sidesism. And that's far from the way it actually is. It's so far. As a child, I witnessed 4 political assassinations, was it? President Kennedy, Malcolm X. Some people wouldn't count, but he counts.
Well, you're kind of making the point that I've been trying to make by suggesting that we have to tally up how many political assassinations were made of people on the left, and how many political assassinations have been made of people on the right, and that will give us a clear picture of where the ill is in our society. So if more people on the left,
me and one other black girl, we integrated our junior high and high school in Pennsylvania, and it's like so Republican and stuff. Some of these kids, I mean, I knew these people. They were not all friends of mine. And some of them were not interested in being friends with me because I was a black person. And here we are.
We know that there's racism that is ingrained in our society.
It's beyond that. It's beyond that. What it is, and Nancy McLean's book, Democracy in Chains, the deep history of the radical right's stealth plan for America.
So just to sum up, it does matter, and what matters is that the right is the dirty side of the aisle, because that's where all this is coming from. Is that your argument?
Okay. What I'm saying is that, as some people say, because I vote, but I just, it's really, this is like so complicated, so complex. But we have a 34-time convicted felon in the White House.
We know all that, but that's not what we're here to discuss today. We've discussed it ad nauseum on this stage. The question is, And if you could focus on the question, you said that you saw the title of the room and it prompted
in a vacuum.
you said that you saw the title of the room and it prompted you to come up on the stage, and thus far, unless I am totally
invited on the stage. I was invited on the stage.
That's fine. I'm just saying, I don't know how you got on the stage, whether you were invited on the stage or whether you raised your hand. Great. That's great. It doesn't matter to me whether you were invited or...
You spent 8 minutes. I have, I didn't finish what I was saying, but if this is the end of it, then I'll shut my mouth.
I'm not asking you to shut your mouth. I'm asking to try to bring this around and focus at the topic in hand. Not whether Donald Trump is a felon.
Because this is not about this Robinson. What's his name?
What is it about? What is it about? Tell me very succinctly right now.
It's about the breakdown of the United States. And right now we're talking about a breakdown on the right, because this was not somebody from the left that shot this fellow.
Okay, you know that. You know that. You know that. How do you know that? How do you know that?
Judge Luttig, his own grandmother talked about the situation.
How do you know that? How do you know that? How do you know that?
Have the FBI investigate it. But let me make one more point, and then I'm gonna leave it alone, because you want to see it a certain way. And
no, it's not that I want to see it a certain way. I want you to address the issue.
Does not count.
I want you to address the issue.
Told us, Judge Luttig said in the summer of 2022, after the January 6th killings, they were killings too, but the attack on the Capitol, where I used to work, he said that Donald Trump and his supporters and allies are a clear and present danger to America.
And that's why Charlie Kirk is dead today.
Yes, because he did that whole thing.
Okay. Yeah. So he was a victim of his support for the evil Republican.
Somebody quoted what he said about George Floyd, which was so tragic.
I quoted what he said about George Floyd, by the way.
No, I didn't hear. I'm talking about something I read earlier.
I quoted it yesterday. I don't remember when it was on.
I wasn't here yesterday. I'm talking about something
I'm just saying that I recognize that. So your argument is.
I'm talking to you. There's other people on here too.
I know that, Marianne. Quit being so contentious.
Thank you. Take care. Check.
Okay. As best as I can tell, Marianne just illustrated the problem. She knows for a fact that the right is responsible for all the evil in the United States. And I'm sure some come up to the stage and say that they know for a fact that the left is responsible for the evil in the United States. That's the problem, in my humble opinion. That's not to say that the points that Marion raised are not accurate. I'm not saying that, and I don't want to be represented in my admonishment of the discourse. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that she's got it in her mind, and maybe she's right, that all the problems of our society come from the right, just like Donald Trump and his followers have it in their mind, and maybe they're right, that all problems of society come from the left. And so long as we continue to do this finger pointing, and you're wrong, no, you're wrong, we're never going to resolve the problem. And I really fear that there will be more political violence in our society. That's my Nostradamus prediction. I'm not qualified to do so, but that's my fear anyway. Dude.
Hi, Gary. I just want to start off saying I love people who identify as Republican, and I also love people that identify as Democrat.
You're trying to play both sides, dude. How can you do that?
Well, it has to do with love and compassion, I guess, and common good, a common ground. The common ground would be the country, right? And the democracy works in a healthy way when people actually share common ground and have compassion for one another. and actually work together, even through their differences. Actually, it's interesting. I heard from older generations growing up that that the youth has lost the ability to sit down at the table and have a coffee and not get upset or storm off or call the other person names. Um, it seems like it's not even a generational problem anymore. That it's like a common problem. That people in all generations who are indoctrinated and partisan treat each other terribly. And it's interesting how many people identify as having religious views, or even just how many people do not identify as having religious views, yet both seem to, when it comes to the right and left religion that they are supporting, they seem to act just like religious hypocrites, indoctrinated religious hypocrites who have no love or compassion for the common citizen.
To your point, dude, if you don't mind me interjecting.
That's all my point is that.
I just want to underscore and illustrate this with something that happened yesterday. Okay, thank you very much. I hate this when I go to this website and talk. I didn't ask this website to talk. Shut up. Oh my God, stop. Stop. I stopped and it's still talking. Okay. What you're hearing in the background is Cornel West, the esteemed professor, former candidate for President of the United States, storming off the set with Piers Morgan during a debate on the death of Charlie Kirk. There's your prime example of exactly what you're talking about, dude. You couldn't handle it. How could a guy like Cornel West not handle Piers Morgan? How can Piers Morgan and Cornel West, a professor at Princeton, not have a civil discussion over the issue to the point that Cornel West gets so frustrated that he storms off the set? Isn't Princeton supposed to be an Ivy League university, one of the top universities in the country? Harvard, Princeton. I think it's isn't that right? Is Harvard supposed to be the top and Princeton supposed to be the next most esteemed university in the country? And a guy of the stature of Cornel West can't handle Piers Morgan? Whatever you thought about Charlie Kirk, he certainly can handle a debate without storming off like that. Just saying. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, it shows a lack of emotional intelligence. I'll just.
I think so. I think you're right. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. Thank you, dude. King, you're up.
Yeah, so I do understand why Cornel West would have stormed off. This has been a very difficult conversation to have, particularly with people who, again, lack of empathy, refusing to put themselves in another person's shoes, and their understanding of the environment, the rhetorical environment that all of this is surrounded by. And I'm not talking about from a partisanship perspective. I know that Cornel West has 2 kids, and one of his good friends, he has a well-known friendship with another scholar, Robert P. George, who is a profound conservative intellectual. I also know that Charlie Kirk and Cornel West have had engagements, personal engagements. I've heard them talk about their personal interactions over the last couple of days. But I'm sure that at the time he was probably trying to, I can only imagine, but I would guess that he was having a conversation about some of the words that have been spoken and why they are or are not problematic as it relates to marginalized groups. But I do agree with you that the motive
doesn't really matter because, well, firstly, like I said, I don't think this is an issue of partisanship. The pattern that we've been seeing with young men, radicalized young men, lashing out because of the nihilistic indoctrination they've received online, is the through line. The same day that that young man shot Charlie Kirk, another young man shot up a school. 2 weeks before that, somebody else shot up another school. This has been going on, right? I have thoughts about the partisan leaning that some of this indoctrination comes from, because I know of the Andrew Tates. I know about some of the messaging that have been reaching children as young as in junior high or middle school. A conversation that's starting to happen now online is that the parents of young people are looking at their kids like, okay, what do you know about a Groyper? What do you know about these people? I've never heard of Charlie Kirk. I've never heard of Nick Fuentes. And they're asking their children, and they're floored because their children are very aware of the memes. They've been exposed, is what I'm saying. And all of these new terms that these parents had no clue about or what they meant, the children are well versed in this. Some of those kids are going to fall deeper into those rabbit holes because of the algorithms, right? And it doesn't even matter the platform. There was a time where people felt more vulnerable going into places like the deep web, but people are being radicalized through TikToks and YouTube and Instagram, and the algorithms are playing a part in this. And so I think that is a way that people from a partisan perspective can find some commonality about, because there are a lot of parents who are worried about the things in this that their kids are being indoctrinated with as it relates to violence and retrograde ideas. Like one of the moms was talking about how what sparked her to ask her daughter, was she aware of these things, is because somebody in her class was suspended for standing up and saying Hitler was right. And so it provoked this conversation that wouldn't have otherwise happened with this parent and her daughter, right? And so I think that's the larger issue. And I think I'm willing to bet that, this person, like the other person who shot on campus, even though it was a high school campus, also have been exposed to this radicalization. And I think that we need to wake up and take our heads out of our asses as the adults and stop making it about us, or, because we know that both parties have their issues, both ideologies. Any ideology can be turned into something violent and terrible, right? For everyone that talks about, religion, we know that religion even has been used to perpetrate violence on other people. So it's really not about the partisanship. It's, in my opinion, it's about just the fact, the degree of radicalization that is happening amongst young children, and they're growing up with these ideas that are totally retrograde, and that everybody is clueless, and they have access to guns, right? So they have an arsenal, as well as the seeds of violence planted into their worldview depression, and just a lot of hormones, So I do agree. I don't think that the motive matters that much. I think that there's a bigger issue, and because this can be used politically, that's why the motive is being as emphasized as it is. It's because, this motive is being used as justification to clamp down on rights and speech and a whole lot of other freedoms that we've taken for granted up to this point. So I'll yield there.
Thank you, King. Brian.
Hi, Gary. Does the motive matter? I think it could if anybody cared. I think his motive, if it was analyzed by someone who cared, could cause maybe someone to look into why he did it and see if there was any corrections that might be made in the future to help prevent something like that from happening again. When Charlie was assassinated, there was so much blowback on social media that it kind of, I don't know what the word is, kind of incensed me in a way, because I was just learning what happened and didn't even know who Charlie was, but there was this blowback of people were blaming the left and there was so much I don't know how to describe it, just kind of blowback toward the left, and everyone was blaming them before the guy was caught, and really before the news story was out everywhere. So I don't think that any motive is going to change people's minds, and especially when like Scott and so many people already mentioned that the president and Attorney General and all these major players on the right, or I should say MAGA, have it ingrained that it's the left. I think in a way that they're going to capitalize on that as much as they can leading into the midterms. It's going to, with that and the gerrymandering, I think they're doing whatever they can to try and, save and gain seats. But unfortunately, I think that's going to cause the problem to exasperate, but I think it's just a matter of time before something else happens again, especially if we don't change course on the way people are talking. And I'm admitting that the blowback eventually went both ways, because it got, real ugly as people, was quoting Charlie and that type of thing. It's just an ugly situation. It just does not seem to be to de-escalate. But there's been some good comments so far, and I really don't have much to add, but thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Chris.
Damn it, Gary. How are you today, Gary?
Damn it, Chris. I'm doing fine.
Well, you ain't got to use your black accent, but I appreciate it. At least I know that you hip. Hey, putting King and Brian in front of me is kind of the cheat code on shutting Chris up or something. Because a lot of the things I wanted to talk about has been said, and gratefully so. So let's get straight to it, so I'm not here wasting anybody else's time. Does Robinson's motive even matter? Yes, it does, to both sides, actually. Unfortunately, the investigation that we'll get will be skewed. The FBI working the case will be skewed. And that means motives will matter for the respected administration. Why? Because they can push the narrative that makes them happier. They can push the narrative, as Brian said, that can push them into midterms with a strong base, or try to find a strong base in the sake of a death. Which, I hate to say it, with how fast they moved as soon as the man's death was announced, they played their hand so fast that it was too obvious that you guys had ulterior motives on his death regardless. It could have been anybody from the right at this point, from the way that they're moving. They would have found a way to utilize it for their gain. Now, oh, poor sorry Charlie Kirk and his family, yeah, great. I'm there for you all. Whatever well wishes you want to send to them, I respect. But the way that the administration, who said that they were friends of Charlie Kirk, decided on utilizing Charlie Kirk's death in the aftermath to turn things into a hate-filled push, an agenda, and a distraction from what we previously seen coming down the pipeline, from the gerrymandering, which was funny that you mentioned that. I believe that was Brian, because the gerrymandering has been looked over. Why? Because we have a new topic on our television screens. The same goes for the Epstein files. The Epstein files are now on the back burner. Why? Because we have to figure out about all these bad apples talking bad about Charlie Kirk. And guess what? Our Congress agreed. And Congress just pushed that stuff right out the back door and said, we'll figure that out eventually, if not ever. Because now we have a bigger fish to fry. People are being mean about Charlie. So the motives do matter for the right. Now let's get to the left. The motives matter for the left too. Because I'm not one of those people that says, well, they're playing it on both sides. Because obviously the rhetoric that's being pushed on from the right is way more detrimental than the rhetoric that's been pushing on the left, and we'll get to that here shortly. But the left can also utilize from this. The left needs to utilize from this because, yes, we don't have all the information. We don't know if just because he had a right-leaning family that he was actually on the right. But what we do know is that the right decided to pull war out as soon as they could. And the left should be speaking to that. Hey, who are they at war with? The left should be speaking to the fact that who are the right declaring war on? Who are they upset with? They have every single aspect of government. They even have the Supreme Court in their pocket. And we can honestly say that with a straight face. The Supreme Court has done a lot of damage in the name of Donald Trump president. Let him do it. So the motives here just strictly goes back to, on the left side, hey, these guys said that this was a left-leaning thing. They said that the left is the danger. It's the left's job to point the picture.
Well, the president said specifically the Democrats.
Yes, I mean, everybody on the right. I mean, you could turn on Fox News before you even seen the president, and it was already, the message was already out. I'm going to say that again. The message behind Charlie Kirk's death was out before Charlie Kirk's death. And the only way I can put that and say that in the way with so much bigger and understanding that I have a way more chance of being right than wrong is because the message was instant.
Yeah, and Charlie, by the way, is by all accounts to this point, this may change, was apolitical in terms of partisan politics. Something to take into consideration.
But the message, by the way, was instant. It took no time to get out the message across the Republican pundits that it's the right's fault, regardless of the information we have.
The left's fault, yeah.
Well, yes, the left's fault. I'm sorry. I do apologize. The left's fault that all of this stuff falls victim to. Before we knew who the guy was, before we even knew the video of him jumping off the back of the building in the Converses, before we realized that he broke down a gun in less than 2 seconds, we found out that it was all the Democrats' problem. That they pushed it and they pushed this and we need to go to war because it's time. Now, let's get back to the last point I want to make. Is exactly what Brian said. Man, King and Brian was cooking. And it might have been King that said this, but I want to give them both a shout out for stating the fact that all this stuff is went underneath the radar of parents, of grown adults who consume politics on a daily basis. Okay? Let's understand how well they hid Charlie Kirk in plain sight. Let's understand how algorithmic they was able to hide Charlie Kirk and his message.
What do you mean they were hiding his message? I don't get the point.
What I mean by they were hiding his message, and I don't put a they with a person or a party. I'm saying Charlie was infectious to children. He was talking about who are you? And adults did not know that Charlie Kirk was talking to the youth. Remember? This is a whole problem. Let me give you an example here.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. This is a whole problem that we have generationally with some people not understanding that what to them is a legacy way of getting information out. There's a whole different, like the people said to, in fact, somebody I know in her 30s asked me, what's Discord? She's already too old to know what Discord is. So there are so many different ways of getting information out. Yes, the older generation, probably many, I mean, how many people came up to the here and said, I've never heard of Charlie Kirk?
And I think that's a terrible thing, but I do also understand and I sympathize with those people because a lot of those people are just not in the bubble of information, and that's fine. But go right ahead, because I do have a point that I
No, I was just trying to explain why that is. Go ahead.
Okay, going back to my point, we all have to remember there was a time where they had children cartoons on YouTube, but in those same children cartoons, they had messages in those children cartoons. The little scary face thing that used to tell the kids to kill their parents and harm themselves. There was a cartoon on YouTube. If you were a parent, you may know this. That they had in the cartoons, they were putting hidden messages in. It was, I forgot what the blippy or whatever the thing was called, but it was a true message being pushed to the youth. But the parents had no clue because they just give the kids the cartoons or the iPad. The iPad eventually puts it all in the algorithm, and it works on the children. We have to be more understanding on what and Gary, but last thing, because you brought a great point, but I want to make sure I don't let this skip over. The Charlie Kirk situation wasn't just something that was undertoned by Charlie Kirk to push to the children. He had investors, he had backing. Somebody knew this message was getting pushed to Charlie.
Okay, so now you just taught me something that I didn't know. And I acknowledge. I acknowledge that I went to ChatGPT, and they reference the Wikipedia. And what it says is, and I was unaware of this. So there were disturbing child-targeted videos on YouTube and YouTube Kids that contain hidden or spliced-in scenes urging self-harm or showing extreme violence.
Amen.
And a number of parent reports and tabloids also circulated claims that some clips contain messages encouraging kids to harm others, including their parents. Major investigations in 2017 through 2019 documented the broader problem known online as Elspethgate. I don't know how I missed this.
Hey, again, don't worry, because the people missed Charlie Kirk too, and this man already passed away.
And related phenomena, and showed that malicious actors were slipping grotesque or instructional content into videos that looked child-friendly. Holy freaking
Hey, Gary, I'm going to jump off of this bridge with this one. Hey, I want you to also understand Charlie Kirk was doing something very simple. He was pushing a message behind the Christian belief.
Well, I don't know whether it was behind Christian belief or not, but let me just say that whenever Charlie Kirk went onto a college campus and engaged in these debates, where, by the way, he overwhelmed the 17 and 18-year-old people who
because they're unknowledgeable, they're children,
and he would often point out, I never went to college. I never went to college. And he was like Rush Limbaugh used to say, that he could debate you with one arm tied behind his back kind of thing. That's what Charlie Kirk was doing. But he always had, and by the way, I'm not saying this critically, I'm saying that this was brilliant. He always had camera crews, plural, there. And they would extrapolate from these long exchanges 20-second clips that went on TikTok and Instagram, and that's how he propagandized his message. He was absolutely brilliant at it, but that's what was going on.
All right, Gary, I'm at the home run. This is the home run, so I want you to all pay attention to what I stated. There was once an organization, and I'll just use the organization because we don't know who the person was or people was that were putting together those videos on children, who actually had a plan to manipulate your children without your knowing. Again, not trying to discredit Charlie Kirk or the message of does Robinson motive even matter? Yes, it matters on both sides, but I want people to understand that, yes, you may not have known who Charlie Kirk is, but understand the system does. And the system knew exactly that you guys wouldn't know who Charlie Kirk was until it was too late. And children are being indoctrinated with information that is not always true, but sometimes hateful. And that's where it gets sticky, because this type of stuff can go over the radar of the adults. Even a Gary who is in this type of media did not understand that children were being harmed by YouTube videos. And this is the same situation we're currently looking at. So I don't want everybody to think that, he hates Charlie Kirk. Hey, he's a human with family and children. I wish he thought about them people more. But the truth of the matter is, People are being indoctrinated from underneath the radar, and our system does understand that. They are literally understanding that.
So I'm just gonna suggest.
Thank you.
I did a little deeper dive into this. There were a lot of investigations by researchers and by journalists, and they couldn't really pinpoint who was behind it, but they found out that these videos were generated by overseas content firms. According to this article in ChatGPT, again, I have not time to check their research, which if I was doing a story, I would have to go beyond just what I'm seeing here. So I'm presenting this with a grain of salt. According to what ChatGPT is saying here, the main motivation was money, exploiting YouTube's algorithm to get clicks from kids. But I don't know, because the subliminal information, I don't think had anything to do with money. And I'm wondering.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you do subliminal gain you more access to money?
Right. But what I'm wondering is, given what we know about Russia and other foreign actors using the internet to cause division among Americans and in the various European countries, among the citizens of those countries, it would not surprise me if we ultimately learn that it was something like that was behind all of this, to try to corrupt our society even more than it's corrupt now. Chris, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I was totally unaware of this.
Also, Gary, I just only wanted to say, and for purposes, reason for people in the room, I only wanted to bring that up because the information that was being spread was under the radar of the adults that should have been understanding to check those videos. Watch the videos for your 15 minutes before you allow your children to watch those 15-minute videos. That's my whole point. A lot of this stuff just goes over the adult's head, and then we find out later on that, oh man, this was probably hurting my child, and the parent can be a great parent. It just ends up being something that does not work in the message that you want to give your child.
They're giving sub-teens, children, smartphones to keep them busy, keep them out of the parents'
Basically.
That's really a problem. Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
That's really, really interesting stuff. Steve. Oh, by the way, it's now 5:58, so we will not be adding anybody to the stage. However, we will get to everybody on the stage who's already in queue
text messages
as we go into extra time.
the alleged murder weapon.
Yeah, Gary, to the topic of the room, I think it's important that we do. I think it does matter. And from this perspective, when we see corrosive elements starting to have a corrosive impact on the country, I think they need to be identified. And they need to be identified not in the way that Trump's talking about, let's go out and hunt them down and prosecute them, or Bondi's talking about prosecuting someone for talking about something. That's not what I'm talking about. More on an intellectual level, where you can draw those forces that are being corrosive out into the light, where they have to articulate to the general population that might reject this line of thought. I think that's the important thing. And as long as it's bubbling underneath and we don't know the genesis, or we don't know what is producing the kind of action that we've seen, then we'll get caught flat-footed. And it's more to where the society, left and right, can expose the corrosive elements on either side. And like I say, corrosive elements, when exposed to the thoughtful interrogation of the idea, usually falls apart. And if you do that, then you invalidate the argument. So, just like with Lincoln, was just Booth his motivation for shooting Lincoln? Was it important? I think it was, because it to my point, it indicated that within society, even though the country had been through a traumatic event, there still was a lingering problem that needed to be addressed culturally within the greater society. So if we have these elements, and like I say, it's both ways. There's nut jobs on the right. There's nut jobs on the left. Political parties are not immune to this type of poison that can seep in. So either way, when those types of things are allowed to germinate in darkness, and they're allowed to germinate without being examined with critical thought from reasonable people, which I think most of our country is, then they can metastasize into an event like this. So that's the reason I think it is kind of important to address it before it evolves into a tragic situation and we find ourselves at each other's throats, Gary.
So to your point, excellent points, by the way, but to your point, would you argue then that since we don't yet know the motivation, that we should not speculate and not cast aspersions upon one another based on what we speculate the motivation is?
Well, I guess it would depend, to your question on that point, at what point, based on the investigation on all the elements that we know, do we say we haven't reached a tipping point in drawing a conclusion? I guess what I'm trying to say is, how much more information do we need to draw a conclusion, and are we drawing it prematurely? You may be correct. And everybody can fall victim to that because passions become inflamed and you have presupposed ideas about people and things that you can become irrational at some point. So I don't know. I'm not. I just don't know that from my point of view, that based on the information I've seen, that maybe I need that much more. I could have a huge blind spot here, Gary, and it may be related to my affiliation. And I'll leave it there.
What's been going on in my mind a little bit is, and we don't know if this is true, but supposedly there's some kind of a transgender issue here, because he had a romantic relationship with a transgender roommate, and we know that a recurring theme when Charlie Kirk was on campus, he would be challenged by folks who were transitioning, were furry babies, were people wearing the clothes of typically worn by people of a gender other than the one that was, as they say today, assigned at birth. And there was all these contentious discussions about transgenderism. And in that community, a lot of people felt that Charlie Kirk was a hateful person for the comments that he made. I'm not arguing that he was. I'm not arguing that he wasn't. I think it's fair to observe that a lot of people who confronted him on college campuses, and this was a recurring theme, felt that about him. I also know, I can say this anecdotally, I don't have any research. I'm sure there is research to support or dispel what I'm about to say, that there are people who identify as transgender or transitioning, who I have met in my lifetime, who identify as conservatives, and there are people who are transitioning who identify as liberals. It's not a political position. It's not like I'm going to show how liberal I am, or I'm a liberal so I can transgender, but if you're a conservative, you can't. It's not that. It's a personal choice, whether you agree with it or not, whether you take Charlie Kirk's position or you feel that people have the right to make that choice is not the issue. I say this to suggest, from what the county prosecutor said today, there was a message between Robinson and his roommate, in which he said that he was going to kill Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk is a hateful person. It's very possible, and I just want to send out this proposition. I'm not arguing that this is the case, but I think it's possible that this was obviously an act of hate. Anytime you kill somebody, it's an act of hate. Generally, when you kill somebody, it's an act of hate. There's some exceptions, like self-defense. But this was obviously an act of hate. By his own admission, it was an act of hate. But it may not have been a partisan political or political ideological act of hate. It may just be this guy is influential in drumming up opposition to being a trans individual. He's a hateful person, so I'm going to kill him. I mean, it had nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans, conservatives or liberals. And it may turn out that it was politically motivated along partisan lines. But at this point, we don't know. And that's why I don't understand why the nation is like screaming and pointing fingers at one another when we don't know. Don't let facts get in the way of a good argument, I guess, is what's going on in our society, Steve.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I haven't heard it articulated that way, Gary. That's a very, very, very salient point there, and that could be. Actually, I hadn't considered the way you phrased it.
I'm not saying that I'm right, but I am saying there's a possibility that that's the motivation.
Yeah, I know. And that's true. I mean, you should consider all possibilities when you look at something like this. And that's actually one I hadn't considered. Good point, Gary.
Thank you, Steve. Meryl. Is Pam Bondi not your door?
She's knocking at my door. I know. Today, I was reading everything that was being written. And I started to think, oh my gosh, I want to kill these people. I want to kill people on the right. Oh my gosh. Because it was so, that's what people on the left do. And by the way, who are people on the left? I'm so confused. I can't articulate this.
Can I please interject and tell folks who may not understand that Meryl is being facetious? Because some people will take you literally and they're going to say, Meryl said she wants to kill everybody on the right. And I know that's not what you mean, and I just want to clarify that.
Yes, I was being facetious. I felt like somebody was saying that about me. And so I felt like a lot of people were doing that. I don't know how to articulate this well. I liked what you just said about, might not be about, it's about hate, but it might not be so much politically motivated. And I have often thought that when you have a person who's the sole shooter and you don't associate him with a group, you don't associate him that way, that person has been affected personally by something that the victim has done. And he has, and I do feel that this could very well be the case. I also think that a big problem that we have is when we start saying this person, it's on the right is the most violent, or the left is the most violent, we tend to elevate the person who's just been killed. I don't know that Charlie Kirk should be elevated any more than Melissa Horton, the House of Representatives, the head of the House of Representatives in Minnesota, who she and her husband were killed. And nobody really.
I think the husband survived, right? But she was killed.
No, they were killed, and their dog. There's someone else who was killed. He was shot, and his wife was shot. That's two other Democrats that night. But no, they were both killed, and their dog. And their children are orphans now. And who talked about them? Did anybody talk about them the next day? And I sit and I feel that when we start talking about
Melissa Hortman, she was a Democratic state representative, formerly Speaker of the House, and her husband, you were correct to correct me, fatally shot in their home in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. You're right.
And so we have elevated by when we start attributing motives, we have then looked at Charlie Kirk. We've elevated him as much as he did in life. He's been elevated much more in death, and I don't think that we should do that. I think Bernie Sanders was right. I think your opening speech was right, as short as it was. I do think that we should. It's time for us to say, okay, enough. Now we're going to stop this. How do we stop it? There's so many reasons why we should. And this is how I feel right now. I feel that we need to put an end to it. I don't think we need to keep showing, have a contest. This group is more radical than that group. Because there's another thing that we don't know. We don't know on a daily basis, we don't know how many people get killed or how much domestic abuse there is that are started because of a political argument. We don't know that. We don't know about all the threats that come in that the FBI is keeping us from. We don't know all of these things. So we've got to be, and I just think we need to be more careful. But I want to stress that when we start saying it's more on the right or more on the left, we start to elevate people that maybe shouldn't be elevated. Maybe everybody should be looked at the same way. Thank you.
Here, Meryl.
Pardon?
He said here, Meryl.
Who's that? Thank you.
Marshall.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Marshall.
So across the aisle. Thank you, Meryl. Double.
Hi, Gary. Yeah, it's been an interesting discussion. Didn't know about the YouTube hidden
I
message
know.
thing.
I thought he was like blowing it out his ear.
Yeah, it sounded
I said, what the hell are you talking about? Oh
but
my God.
I do appreciate, directionally the idea that people are coming for your children. They want to corrupt your children. A lot of people think if they want to change society, they want to start early and get them while they're young. And he's right to point out Charlie Kirk saw that opening in the market, as did some others. I think Ben Shapiro has been on college campuses quite a bit, speaking even further right, even more problematic people like Milo Yiannopoulos. Although when he shows up to campuses, the protests often were so extreme that he would sometimes be uninvited. Like I believe that happened at UC Berkeley.
Happened to Ben Shapiro as well.
Yeah. So we could talk about that as a problem, but but I mean it's fair. That's what colleges are. We infantilize college students, unfortunately, but that really used to be considered that as your real maturation phase, where you're meant to contend with all the ideas in the world, however offensive or disturbing or mature or whatever they might be, that you now have to address learn, understand, process, debate, and that is part of your graduation into adulthood.
To that point, though, and I would sound like a curmudgeon, and I'm looking back and like that. But I think my observation is pretty spot on, based on some of the clips that they're all over the place now. And Meryl's absolutely right. He's bigger than life now, bigger in death than he was in life, Charlie Kirk. So the algorithms now are causing these clips, to which I referred earlier, to pop up on my Facebook and on my Instagram. And I see people coming to the microphone to debate Charlie Kirk, having great difficulty articulating their thoughts. And some of them even are referring to something that they read on the internet, and they're holding their phones and reading off the phones when they're trying to debate Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk would say, "Look at me. Don't look at your phone. Look at me." And when I was in college, my recollection, I may be looking at this through rose-colored glasses, was that we had very vibrant debates. I was in the Vietnam War era. We had immense discussions about the war, and people could sit down, usually over a beer at the local pub, and we could have an articulate, mature discussion about communism and domino theory and exploitation and empire building and all that kind of stuff. All these various views were discussed. The military-industrial complex, but we need a strong military to protect us. People had varying points of view, and we would discuss them, and we could all articulate very well, I think, and then we would go our separate ways and remain friends. But when I saw, and I don't know, maybe most of the clips, most of the interactions he had were not like this, but so many of the clips showed people sputtering while trying to talk to him. These are university students. What the hell?
Yeah, I agree with you, Gary. I think we've dramatically, the inflation of, even if you adjust for monetary inflation, the inflation of the cost of universities and the inflation or the expansion of the administrations in universities and the profit motive there has corrupted these institutions so much. We've dramatically lowered the standards and we've jacked up the price, so they're profit maximizing institutions now that don't really, you're allowing people in who don't have the cognitive abilities or education to be there.
Or the other thing that's happening, and I can speak to this anecdotally, I don't have any statistics to back this up, but I know of many cases where the student is articulate, the student is very intelligent, but the student kind of goes against the grain of the norm on the campus and is shut down. And it's like, well, wait a minute. As you pointed out, it's supposed to be the forum for open discourse about many issues, and yet people in the minority, whatever that minority might happen to be, are not given the opportunity to articulate their feelings, their beliefs, their arguments without being shunted by the other, shunned by the other students on the campus, and sometimes by the professors themselves.
Yeah, I agree, and people are claiming. I heard someone I respect greatly on Clubhouse earlier today saying, if you send your child to one of these northern or certainly northeastern universities, you are basically signing them up to be indoctrinated into a religious ideology that will push them to change their gender and become radically opposed to.
I think that's an overstatement, but I think there's a greater acceptance of that perhaps on the campus and in general society, but that nobody on the campuses are trying to get people to change their gender, and they're getting indoctrinated.
It happened to my cousin, Gary. It happened to my cousin. But
go talk to your cousin and ask your cousin.
We're out of touch. I think we as older people are, to the point of the earlier caller, I think even we are out of touch in just how, and I think that you saw it in that clip and seeing a kid said something slightly counter to the group think and was immediately shamed into submission. And like that was...
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about right now. You're taking it to another level. I'm gonna let you go because we're out of time.
I'm telling you what that group think is.
Check with your cousin and see when their cousin started having feelings of transition.
I'm not just talking about transition. I'm just talking about the overall theme of, what some people would call the woke religion, Gary.
Yeah, but you just said that people would be pushed into becoming transgender.
Trans is just one aspect of.
Well, I'm just responding to what you said. I gotta run. Thank you, Double.
Thank you very much.
We go to Shadow. Shadow, you're up.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate that. Man, my ADD is on overload right now, so I don't even really know what I want to say. But if we're talking about,
we're all in that position right now. So don't think that it's that you have a medical condition. You're just part of society, buddy.
Right. Yeah. So does the motive really matter? Like, I really don't. I wouldn't say it does, because I mean, you can be presented with, especially a specific side, I won't say which, will be presented with facts, and then the story will always be spun in some sort of fashion. I mean, for example, if you want to dig into the data, like I've posted it in the chat, I've sent it in your back channel as well, Gary. But if we're talking about, let's say Tyler Robinson, he was born in Utah. He went to a conservative school, raised by a conservative family. All of those data points would point to that he could be a conservative, because that's the way he grew up. But the fact that he was in a queer, quote unquote, relationship, does that make him part of the left?
No,
I don't know.
No, that just means that was his sexual preference or orientation or experimentation. It has nothing to do with his partisan political positions.
Right. So yeah, I don't really know what to say about that particular story. I mean, honestly, he could just be a crazy person. It should just be left at that. But again, the data that I added in your chat, if you go to, it's by the Cato Institute, and then I think it's SUNY, the New York University. I forget what the acronym means. But if you look
State University of New York is SUNY. State University of New York.
State University, there it is. If you look into the data, it's pointing to a particular side. If you look at right after 9/11, the data shows that most of the violence was caused by Islamism. I don't know why they would include international crimes into that. I felt like that part of it was kind of skewed. But if you look at all of the tables, the data is pointing to a specific side, which is the right, and all the ideological homicides that have happened over the years. And then the state college, the state University of New York, State University of New York data also points to all the homicides that happened prior to 2000 onward to 2016. It's by the right. And the data is there. One of the tables shows the number out of it leans towards the right, and then the table right under it is out of 469. It's clear as day where the violence is coming from, but even with that data presented,
what partisan bent to political violence have anything to do with it? Why are we taking the political view into account? Isn't the violence just bad because it's murder?
My point was just that if you're presented with facts, people will still always spin it in some way or fashion. But I'm just presenting. This isn't my study. This is where it's coming from. So that's all I was pointing out.
Okay, no.
Although anecdotally, recently, the victims of political violence have tended to be people on the right, with the exception of what happened in Minnesota. By the way, breaking news out of London, where the president is on a state visit. I'm kind of chuckling about this. Somebody projected these big images of Trump and Epstein onto their castle. And more people got arrested for that. But you got to see the video of this. I'm sure you'll find it all over the damn place. Holy cow. Thank you for that. It's pretty cool, actually, I thought. Shadow, thank you. Danny.
Yeah, no problem. Gary, I think you are one of the few speakers since this topic started, talk about potential exploitation by foreign actors. I think this is something that we need to look into. It's not recent. It has been planted in decades, and because even the professors are affected, right? It means something quite long. But the good thing is, after all this discussion you brought up, the picture starts to seem very clear, and there is a solution. I always look for solution. It's not. It is time that both sides have to come together. Yeah? This is good. Just like here, there's an opportunity of healing because we get to hear both sides of view. And we need more platform like that. And we need to figure out how to scale so that both sides can come together and look at it and figure out both sides could contribute to the solution. It's not one side, it's both sides. Because, from what I hear is the Thompson already hears something. Charika is coming. I think he heard it like 1 week earlier. So, and he's already thinking, but then he heard coming, and that somehow eventually triggered to, now is the time. And then he left a note under his keyboard, right? Say, I have the opportunity to kill him now, blah, blah, something like that. So, and that, I feel like the motivation is based on transgender identity things. And I'm foreign to this topic, but as I debate in Clubhouse, occasionally I come across people want me to put this topic as equal status as protection of Western civilization. I was like, what are you talking about? I was trying to minimize this important, but I think these people are really feeling their voice are not being heard, and they are feeling a lot of challenges and threats from multiple ways. And I'm guilty of it. I just put less important, but I'm not like discriminate, right? But I think they want their voice to be heard, and they're feeling a lot of threat, and they amplified it, and the killer of Charlie Kirk took that response, right? And I think so. I did ChatGPT and asked a couple of questions. What is this transgender motivated violence compared to political violence? I asked this question. It come up with very nice arrangement. It will take me some time to figure out how to organize it in a very coherent point. I urge you all to ask this question to the ChatGPT. And I think, is this motivated politically? I think from the time Charlie Kirk was killed, I mean, from the Republican point of view, Charlie Kirk in the way is a very rare person. He has a lot of talent, and he still have a lot of things that he expected to do, but he just been killed too early. And the Republican side is shocked. And they need to figure out an answer and revenge. And just like the thing, when Lincoln got killed, and because it was just a few days before a Southern Confederate surrender, so someone has to figure out a revenge. And so the Republican side is acting on this, right? But I hope they realize that. Again, I don't want to take up too much time, but I somehow figure. So it has many things. When Trump take over, he's very hard. Common sense. You're either male and female. He took it very hard, and he pushed it, and it's taking it too fast because this concept has been cooking for many years, and
and this community need time to adjust to Trump's approach to very hard, very quick change. And so this community have no time to respond. And this is also politically motivated in the sense that when Trump is running for re-election, Charlie Kirk is understand the position of the party from the religion point of view, from Christianity point of view. Again, that is something also the Republican side had to look at it. How hard should one look at to pro-life, transgender thing? Because most of the discussion I hear the student coming in, just like you say, they were looking at Andy and start asking questions. They are all immature in their understanding what pro-life and what transgender and so on. So, so what I want to say is there is a solution and it's a good opportunity, and both sides have to step back, and both sides have to understand in the end, you are American. Your enemy is foreign and not among yourself. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Dave, AC, and then Steve will get the last word. AC.
All right, thank you, Gary. This has been a phenomenal room, but to be concise, so does Robinson's vote even matter? My perspective, when I first heard the name Tyler Robinson, I was saying in my head, please don't be a black guy, please don't be a black guy, please don't be a black guy, please don't be a black guy. And the reason being is this is the single most important element of this entire thing. I almost did a room saying, called the Kirk Alert. Which minority group are they going to scapegoat for the killing of Charlie Kirk? And I think that my experience, living in America, is that when something happens like this, there's typically a scapegoat, and the revenge on that demographic is going to be tremendous. There's going to be a tremendous amount of spite and vengeance for whatever group is assigned this, whether it is.
Yeah, and the thing you should say that I was thinking, please don't be a Jewish guy. So.
Yeah, and so I was like, there's going to be a tremendous amount of vengeance for whatever demographic it is, whether it is Democrats, whether it is the LGBT community, black community. I know when COVID first happened, I was like, if this is anything to do with China, then all Asian people are going to have to deal with this. When 9/11 happened, I was like, if this has anything to do with...
By the way, a lot of Asian people were attacked on the streets of the United States. Yeah. And even if they had been Chinese, what does that have to do with anything? They had nothing to do with what happened over there.
Exactly. And so the reason why I was saying, please don't be a black guy, is because I know that I'm going to have to deal with... I live in the Bay Area, right? And next to Berkeley and San Francisco, and I don't have anything to do with that, but how America works, right, is somebody has to get the blame, and there has to be some sort of revenge or vengeance, and then that happens for a long period of time. I know when Obama was leading office for his second term, there was all of these police shootings of black people, like every week and every day, and to me, I take that as a message, as, we are reclaiming our country or whatever. So there's lunatics on both sides. And so I think that this is the single most important part of this, because as soon as a narrative is established, there's going to be groups that, are basically going to commit acts of terror. And so ever since this Kirk shooting has happened, I've kind of been on edge, because it just feels like we are waiting to hear what the facts are. And as soon as the country gets the facts and we can establish a narrative of whose fault it is, then that group is going to experience some sort of revenge terror attack. And so that's my point of view on it. But I think it's the most important element of this entire story.
Nobody else has brought that up. It's really important. I'm glad you did. Thank you, AC. Steve, you got the last word.
Thank you. Gary, so glad I've been listening to your show today. Literally, I have a 22-year-old blood niece, just graduated UCLA speech communication degree. She's going to her master's program at Northwestern in journalism. By the way, Gary, I don't know if you knew, but that's only like a 12 or 14 month program.
I've actually trained
interns from the Northwestern School of Journalism, which it's debatable who's got a better J school, Hofstra or people would say NYU or Columbia, but it's really Hofstra and Northwestern. Those are the top two in Gary's esteemed professional opinion. So good luck to her.
Thank you. But Gary, up until an hour ago, I had no concerns about her sexuality because she started UCLA at 18, straight female, graduated UCLA, straight female, but now she's going to one of those Northwestern schools or whatever. I'm concerned about her coming out transitioning into a man.
Where that comes from.
But that being said, I wanted to comment on what you said about debating and how you debated back in the 60s, or you had conversations in the 60s, and people debated Kirk recently. Now, I have not seen any of the Kirk debates, but I've been involved in debates. I've seen debates. I've listened to debates. And Gary, you among all people will attest that a good debater can debate both sides. Nobody belongs in a debate if they cannot have at least a modicum of information that they've studied. And what I presume what's been said today as far as Charlie Kirk debating college students, and they have to go to their phones to look up Google or ChatGPT or whatever, to me that means they have not done the proper preparation for that discussion or that debate. There's an old cliche, Gary, you've probably heard it. Preparation plus opportunity equals luck, okay? And I just find that a lot of people, not all people, a lot of people are taking the easy way out. They are not doing the basics, the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s of critical thinking, which is to put the time in, do the research, distinguish your fact from opinion, and then develop your
Steve's
own
part of the
conclusions
lifestyle.
and your own arguments. They're taking the easy way out, and I'll land it here, Gary, because I know you.
This is a Democrat liberal boat show. Gary, Scott, and Alan, three sailors.
It's hard to do proper preparation. It's easy to spend 10 or 15 minutes, get some sound bites, get some headlines, and think you can come off as doing well. Nothing substitutes for proper preparation. And Gary, thanks again. Bye.
You're 100% correct. Thank you, Steve. Folks, we're here Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. New York time. So till 5 p.m. New York time tomorrow for the next edition of the Critical Thinking Forum. Everybody be safe, be well, and peace out.
Was patient. I've lost things. He's been killed.
More people talking about nothing and wasting all their time. Welcome back, everyone. Another exciting show where we record people talk about nothing and waste all their time.
I mean, I'm seeing some people saying that all of
Call me a
this
hypocrite.
is like
Call me a
they're
critic.
arguing the Palestinian-
But I'll let you
Palestinian
judge.
side is the truth
Is this a
side,
waste of time?
because UN, United Nations kind of agreed to it or they declared that. I mean, if United Nations was the perfect source,
Who stepped on a duck?
people were being killed. Nobody talks about that. There are so many people killed all around the world. Then, I mean, United Nations do shit. In Iran, we consider United Nations a kind of, I would say, a sham. There are so many countries in the world, and they come with their own bias. So of course, yes, it's an international organization, but it doesn't mean that they are free from bias or lobbyists. If they were really on the true side of the history, on the side that tells the truth, stands for truth, they would have stand for our people, for Iranian people who were killed in the streets. Yet they said shit. They did nothing. And now you're bringing that as your point of reference. It's interesting.
They got their hands tied.
We got an all-star
The
cast here
orthodoxies of institutions.
in the house of BB.
Individual actions. Stalinism is the best illustrator. Stalin couldn't have stopped himself. The best thing that can be done is critical analysis.
My one question that why didn't Hamas, which has the biggest popularity, I mean, at least to the recent numbers, I'm not sure if I'm correct there, so if I'm wrong, please somebody correct me. Why didn't Hamas take the chance to have peace when they were offered one? To the people who are defending that point, this is my only question. Why didn't they take the peace side if United Nations stands for ending the wars and declaring the peace? Why aren't they talking about Hamas not accepting the peace?
Because they're a terrorist organization. That's not part of their charter. They want to obliterate Israel, going to give in to anyone.
Oh, there is a single charter? What is a charter? I don't speak English very good, that's why I'm here speaking, trying to perfect and trying to practice my English.
Still they want to erase us from this land and this world.
Right.
And we don't want to let them, period.
That's their charter, and that's their goal. There's not room for them to think about peace. That's not, they've been very clear about that.
Also, they can't pronounce food, right?
We can't hear you, baby. Say it. Come closer to the mic if you can.
They can't pronounce peace.
They wouldn't be able to even pronounce peace. It would be beast with a B.
Like pizza?
Yeah,
pizza.
Yeah, like the people, the people instead of people, the pizza, exactly. That's so that they don't want nothing to do with the word P, with the letter P.
It's so interesting that below they're putting their comments, and it's all filled with hate, and we haven't been talking about hate.
Yes, and they're jumping from one subject to another. They cannot stick with one fact.
Yeah, and it's trope. It's just...
Wait, why are they in the audience and not where they moved, or did they move down?
I just see them talking in the message. I just see them talking in the message.
Well, Zach, they moved Bev down, so I mean...
Why was Bev silenced?
That is about fake actor.
You can bring him back up. You can bring her back up. Baby, you want to bring Bev back up? I'm not bringing her back up.
I send her an invitation, and if she's coming up, if you are asking a question, let the guy that answering you to answer, and then continue to talk. Don't interfere in the middle. That's not nice. And I hope my English was okay this time.
Your English is fine, Shlomi.
It seems like maybe now Bev does not want to come up. I had a question for Bev.
Well, let's try to get her up and invite her. We have been.
No, she told to shut the fuck up. She's silencing me.
I'm now the center of her universe.
I mean, if you're going to add Bev, maybe you can add her, compliment her. I mean, he's married to her, Sire Carter as well. It would be an interesting conversation to have.
Hasn't someone on stage invited her? Bibi, you want to invite her?
The chatting on Clubhouse is wild.
I just invited her.
Okay, you're not going to play games. Okay, that's great, Bev. Either you come up or you fuck off.
I think maybe she cannot answer the questions. That's why she doesn't want to come up and talk.
She's basically illiterate.
Yeah.
No, look, she's primal. She's playing a primal game thinking it's legitimate because that's how her life works.
I'd like to ask Bev a question.
Just no respect.
I mean, they were just trolling and laughing. 1 minute they feel sorry for what they call genocide, and 1 minute they're laughing. I mean, that only a psychopath can do that.
I think subconsciously they want to be scolded. They want permission to be good, but I think the forces in there are much stronger than any good they can learn there.
Actually, Grace said I'm inviting her up. Didn't you say that, Grace, or did you say
I said I'll invite you up. Come on back.
I think
I invited her also.
She's received an invitation.
She didn't.
If she doesn't join right now, I think then she has no points to make. I think that would be an answer for herself.
We don't care. Let's move on. She's not the subject.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why, yeah. We've saved ourselves. No gossiping. We were just asking you to come up. That's what the people wanted here, and they were happy to engage with you.
Somebody just said that I have an American accent, and that was interesting. Like, say the reverse psychology is weak in your American accent. I don't even, I can't even understand that sentence. But I think they wanted to say that is as weak as your American accent. Well, bro, I'm not an American, so English is not my native language. So I'm sorry for weak as American accent.
I hope you get the love that you seek.
They're just playing games. I mean, it's.
Well, that we knew that from before. That's why it wasn't necessary for them to be.
She's probably having a ball right now, feeling so wanted.
I mean, the best action is to stop responding to them because they had tried to add them 3 or 4 times. So I think let's move on with our topic.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's interesting. The topic is about radical Islam, and when people come here, I think the first thing they see is like Israel's flag behind Bibi, and they assume this is a matter of Palestine and Israel. They don't even read the topic of the room, like Islam. No, it's not about Palestine or Israel, it's about Islam. So, what do you guys think about the topic?
Can you please stop recording my room? I'd appreciate it very much. Please stop recording my room. I would appreciate it so very much. Why do you keep recording my room? I politely asked you not to. But you keep coming back to record my room about nothing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the same topic. I think Cameron, if you notice